Hey everybody, this is the first in what I hope to be a series of videos on music theory for the worship band. A lot of us in worship bands come from different backgrounds. Some people are from a pop music or a rock music background. There are people that have classical training. There are people that have no training. There are people that have choral training. We just come from a lot of different backgrounds and a lot of different experience levels. So we find ourselves in a lot of situations not having a common vocabulary in music that we can use to interact with each other and communicate ideas with each other. And it's sort of like we're speaking different languages, and it can lead to frustration and confusion and a situation where we don't feel like we're communicating well with the people that we're working with. So hopefully this series of videos will give us some common ground to have a vocabulary or a set of words that we can use to discuss the ideas that we have and give us some common footing. We're gonna stay real simple on this, so some of this may seem very basic to those of you who are music school people, or it may seem I'm going to basically try to do this so that it's on the level of a person that doesn't have a whole lot of theory education in music, and that way we can all sort of start from the beginning and have a common understanding. I do want to back up though and talk about what is the difference between a worship band and your regular rock band or pop band. I went to a worship conference in Austin, Texas a couple years ago, hosted by the Austin Stone Church. It was fantastic. And in one of the breakout sessions, I was spending some time with the sound guy at the Austin Stone Church, and he went around the room and asked each person to say their name and the church they were from, the town they were from, and what their primary role in their church's music ministry was. And he got to me, and I told him my name and where I was, and said that I was a sound man slash equipment manager slash setup and tear down guy slash lighting guy. And he correctly said, no, you are first and foremost a worshiper of Jesus. And in your worship of Jesus and through your worship of Jesus, you also run sound. As part of your worship of Jesus, you take care of the equipment. As part of your worship of Jesus, you set up and tear down, etc. And it was sort of a watershed moment for me because he was absolutely right. I was viewing myself wrongly as a technical person or a sound guy or as, sometime a violinist. And the truth of the matter is, as a believer, my role is always to worship and magnify Jesus. And in my worship and magnification of Jesus, I will sometimes have some of these other responsibilities. So primarily as a worship band, our primary responsibility is to worship. And in our worship, we will have roles where we are singing, we're playing instruments, we're running sound, maybe we're changing slides, whatever that is. But we first and foremost want to make sure that we realize that we are worshipers of Jesus, and that sort of puts our hearts in the right place to do the rest of this stuff. Okay, so now on to the music theory. When we talk about playing a certain song, one of the first questions that any instrumentalist will ask is, what key are we in? And again, we're going to go real basic with this. I'm sure most people already know. But the key that we're in, when we talk about key, that always means what is the scale that's going to be used for this piece. Say we're in the key of C. We're going to make this real easy. That means that the first chord that's played, the primary chord that's played, the chord that we're going to call the 1, is going to be that C chord or that C scale. And so we're going to look at that. And the C scale starts with C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. You notice it's all the white keys here. That is the C scale, tones 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then back to 1, an octave up. And then, so those are all numbered. So if we go to the D scale, it's the same deal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then back to 1 again. So if we use numbers instead of letters, that'll sort of help us communicate that if we're changing keys, we still have a way to talk about the numbers in a C scale or a C chord. We've got a 3, 1, 2, 3, the third note, but if we go to D, it's still the third note in the scale. So we number those so that we've got a way to talk about which tone in the scale are we referencing. In pop music, there are 4 chords that show up a whole lot. And first, I guess I should talk about what a chord is. A chord will generally say is, a chord can be technically defined by any 2 notes. We will generally define it with 3 notes, and it is the 1st, 3rd, and 5th scale degree of the scale. So in a C scale, C is your root note, or the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3, and 5 form your C major chord. In pop music, we'll generally, like I said, have 4 chords that show up a whole lot. It's the 1, the 4, the 5, those are all major chords, and then the 6 minor. So 1st degree, 4th degree, 5th degree, and then 6. So when we form a triad, it's the 1st, 3rd, and 5th. And then when we come up to the 4, we start on F, F, A, C. That's your 4 chord. So it is a 4th, 6th, and then the root again of the main scale. And then your 5 chord is 5, 7, 2, or 9. And then your 6 minor chord, A minor, will be A, C, and E, which is 6, and then 1 and 3. So when we talk about playing the 4 chord, that's always going to be the triad that starts on the 4th degree of the scale. 1, 4, 5, 6 minor. So that is the first lesson. I guess we'll talk about intervals. You can see that I skip some of the tones in here when I'm playing my C scale. Your scale is always going. You start your root note, and then it's a whole step to the next one, which is 2 half steps. This is a half step. So a whole step, another whole step, a half step, another whole, another whole, another whole, and a half. So when we form our triad, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 half steps. So we'll call that that'll be a major third. So 1 to 3 is a third. It's a major third. The next interval is only 1, 2, 3 half steps instead of 4. So that is a minor third. So your major triad is the root note, a major third up, and then a minor third up completes that major triad. So when we talk about singing the third part up, that means that if the lead singer is singing the C note here, the 1, then the third part up would be a major third landing on the E. If the lead singer happens to be on the E, then the third up in that chord, in the C chord, is the G. It's a minor third up. Now, the chords don't always have to be 1, 3, 5. They will be those same notes, but we can have what's called an inversion, where we play 3, 5, 1. That's the same chord, right? Or we can play the 5, the 1, and the 3. Or we can play this 1, this 5, and this 3. That's another voicing, or it's another inversion of that chord. So that's how we define a chord. And then we have the 1 chord, the 4 chord, 5 chord, the 6 minor chord. The difference between a major chord in a minor chord is that when we talk about the major third here, that's 4 half steps, and then the minor third is 3 half steps. In a major chord, it's a major third and then a minor third. In a minor chord, it's the minor third first, and then the major third. Okay, so that's the minor and the major. And that's probably enough for the first lesson.